a video on making Labneh, which is a kind of cream cheese type of thing made from yogurt. I'm just reading my way through Max's sandwich book at the moment. It's a really good book. You kind of go, oh, I don't need to read a book on sandwiches. Yes, you do, because these things are great. But also at the back, it gives you lots of interesting recipes. So, and I was reading through it, and I was like, oh, Labneh, I've made that before. And then it kind of sparked my kind of idea, and I kind of thought, oh, I wanted to do like, I'll do a richer version of Labneh. So I'm going to do two versions. So I'm going to do my own, turn my homemade yogurt into Labneh, and then in here, what I've got is I've got a more creamy version. So I've used milk and cream, like full fat cream, not full fat cream, but double cream, to make a richer yogurt. So I've just heated it up, boiled the milk and cream, taken it up to boiling point, because that's what you do when you boil it, obviously, and then cooled it down to 45 degrees into a thermos flask, added a little bit of the whey from my yogurt, which will start the culture, and then lid on, snap down, lid like that, and then we'll wrap it in a cloth. We'll leave it overnight, and then it'll keep warm, and the culture from the yogurt will form a richer, creamier yogurt, and then we'll strain it through a cloth tomorrow, when we've got a bit more, when it's formed and we've got a bit more time, and we'll kind of see if it forms a richer, creamier yogurt. It will, and then we'll strain it through a cloth, and then we'll kind of do a little bit of a comparison. But I kind of thought, I quite like the idea. My yogurt's quite rich as it is, so how do I kind of describe it? So I started off making my yogurt from a kefir drink, and slowly over time what's happened is it's become, I keep reusing the yogurt whey to make the next batch of yogurt, and slowly what happens over time is it's changed its flavour. It's not as acidic, it's creamier, it's a little bit cheesy. It's just made an all-round nicer yogurt because the culture's had time to kind of develop. When you buy yogurts from the shops, they use a certain culture of a certain age to give them the product that they want. But what you can do is you can take that culture from a bought yogurt and keep using it and using it and using it, and it changes over time and changes into something different, like you do with a sourdough. So like a sourdough, you collect the yeast that's in the air all around you, and a mixture of flour and water, and then you make bread out of it once it's kind of once you've collected enough yeast from the air around you. And then slowly what happens over time is there might be a few different types of yeast culture in that starter, but slowly over time what happens is that there's one dominant yeast culture that takes over, like the strongest one. So when you first start making the bread with the culture, it's a little bit erratic, and it kind of tends to be a little bit overactive, but slowly over time it becomes a lot more consistent in the bread that you make. Same with yogurt. The culture that you start off with, once it matures and you've used it a few times, it turns into something kind of quite slightly different. So, but I kind of thought that my now culture for my yogurt, which it'll be, it'll be 2.5 years since I made it in Labneh, will be a different yogurt culture and taste different, so it'll make a nicer Labneh. So what we'll do is we'll strain the yogurt once we've formed it, and then the whey will come out of it. We'll strain as much whey out of it as possible, and then we'll have a look at it in that state and do a bit of a comparison, and then we'll put some in some oil as well, and we'll kind of see how it turns out. But yes, so we're back to have a look at the yogurt in the morning. Right, so they've had a few hours. Let's have a look. There isn't that much whey that's come out of the creamy one, so it's looking really kind of quite dense. I've given it a squeeze. So the cloth's wet, but not particularly much whey has come out compared to the yogurt one. Quite a bit of whey's come out of that one. So the thing is, when you put things in a cloth to drain them, like this, it's the outside that dries out first, and the inside is left a little bit wet. That's really rich, is that? So what we need to do is turn it over and kind of pull the outside onto the inside, and then give it another squeeze and another drain for a bit. We'll give it a taste actually while we're here. It's like sour cream. And give that another bit of a massage like that, and then it will give it a mix up in a cloth, hopefully, and then we can get as much whey out as possible. And it's the whey that's, so when you make butter, cream doesn't last very long, but butter lasts a long time, and it's because what you've done is you've separated the fat. When you've made butter, you've separated the fat from the whey, so the fat has a longer shelf life than the actual whey. So by removing the whey from the butter, well, from the cream to make butter, you're improving the shelf life of the butter. That makes sense. I've just got something on the back of the stove that's boiling. So by removing as much of the whey as possible in this, when we make the Labneh, it will improve its shelf life. So that can go back in the fridge and drain a little bit more. I might change the cloth as well, and then we'll squeeze. We'll do the same with this one. You can see lots of whey coming out of that. We'll throw that whey away. What you can do with the whey is you can ferment it into a like a sparkling type of mead type of drink, like a Scandinavian type of drink. So let's have a look at that. There's no way this will be as creamy because the fat content isn't as much. Not bad though. Sharper. It certainly needs a lot more draining than that. So move around like that. And then give it another squeeze and more whey will come out of that. But we'll leave it overnight in the fridge, just to remove as much whey as possible. And then we'll shape it into some balls. And then we'll store it in some, broken my clasp. Then we'll store it in some olive oil. I've also got some flavoured oil as well, so we'll use that as well. Use it up. I can't imagine that I'm going to use the flavoured oil for anything else, so we might as well use it up and give the Labneh a bit more oomph. But anyway, so back into the fridge, a bit more draining, maybe a few more squeezes, and then we're back when we're shaping it. So we have squeezed excess whey out of the Labneh and moved it around and all that kind of stuff. I don't think we'll get any more liquid out of it. We need some salt. Yeah, salt. That much salt. It's going to help preserve it. It's going to kill the bacteria in my yogurt. Well, Labneh, but not to worry. And move that around. It's very creamy. It's been mostly fat now. So move it around, and then I've got a mixture of olive oil and the oil from sun-dried tomatoes. So these sun-dried tomatoes, which have kind of fallen out of favour in the world, but sun-dried tomatoes, the oil that comes out of them is delicious and not to be wasted. So I've got a mixture of olive oil and the oil from that, just to give it a bit of flavour. So it's like thick cream cheese. I suppose we could do it with cream cheese, and then we're going to give it a taste. Needs a bit more salt. I'm not going to put any pepper in it. That one needs some salt as well. So mix it around, and then, although reading the recipe from the picnic book, the sandwich book, it said that you salt it beforehand, but I didn't do that, did I? No, so we'll salt it afterwards. which I suppose we should have salted it before and then salted it afterwards, so we've got a good level of salt in it. Now we are going to form little quenelles as such and drop it into there. I can't think of any other way of doing it, to be honest. I think I'll have too much for 2 jars, so 1 jar will be one jar will be the other. But what I'll do is any left over I'll mix into together, and then that'll be that. But it's lovely and creamy. I haven't quenelled anything in a while. I see them online doing it at the side of the dish, but I can't do that because I'm not a proper chef anymore. Well, I suppose I am a proper chef. No, I'm not. No, because I don't. I'm not in command of other chefs. I don't work in a kitchen with other chefs, so I don't really think I'm a chef anymore. But you get the idea of what I'm doing. Do that. Pick them off there. Drop them into the oil, and then keep putting them in. Keep topping them up with oil, and we'll kind of see how we go. No, I probably will have enough for there, and there, and there, and there. But we'll kind of carry on, and then that'll be that, and then that'll be the Labneh. It'll be very nice. So we have tasted it, haven't we? So it will make really delicious. Keep it in the cupboard. Nice and salty. Keep it in the cupboard. Don't put it in the fridge, because if you put olive oil in the fridge, it starts to wax, which means that it starts to turn into a solid rather than stay a liquid. So carry on, and then that'll be a nice little thing to have in the cupboard. Am I going to keep it in the cupboard for a month and then come back to this? We might come back to it later on, but as far as we're all concerned, this is the end of the video. And cream makes it. No, we should mix this one together and kind of do a bit of a taste comparison, shouldn't we? So making yogurt, you can just buy yogurt and strain the excess whey out of it. Don't have to do it this way. But it was mostly for a taste comparison, wasn't it? See how it is. I think I'll give the normal yogurt version one to my sister. I've seen it in a couple of days, so we'll see. It's always nice to take gifts, even though we're going out for my birthday. That's nice, just not as nice as that. So I recommend, if you're going to make Labneh and you want to make it extra special, if you're going to make the yogurt, use half milk, half full fat milk, half double cream, which is like heavy cream, and make your yogurt that way, and then you'll get a much richer, smoother, luxurious Labneh. So, success? Yes. We might revisit in a month though, but there'll be another video. It's far too long already, this one.